YNG Sports and Hip Hop, we are back. Been gone for a little bit, but we back like cook crack, baby. Um, Much more discussions, topics. We gonna get into it. I'm gonna be dropping at least 2 videos a week now, keeping y'all fresh, keeping y'all updated. If you like this talk, you want to hear more, subscribe to the boy channel, YNG Sports and Hip Hop. But I'm ready to get into what y'all came in for. MVP talk. James Harden. James Harden is the MVP, man. Y'all got to give it up. You got to give credits where due. You got to give the man respect and put some respect on that man's goddamn beard, all right? Now listen to what I'm talking about. James Harden is on a hell of a historic run, man. Most 50-point games in a season for this season, tied for what, fourth in history. Um, just the other night had a 50-point triple double. I mean, every time I turn on ESPN or FS1, I keep hearing the same arguments, the same thing being said about Harden. Well, what about the playoffs? If I'm not mistaken, the MVP is a regular season award. Now, we'll get to the playoffs later. That's a whole nother topic and another discussion. But for right now, the regular season MVP is James Harden. How do you disagree? The man been unstoppable all season. Brought his team back from being 14th in the Western Conference to now in the third, in a position with the ability, if they win out the rest of the season, to possibly close in on the first on Golden State. Come on. How you not respect that man? Respect that man. Stop hating. Show the love. Give him his flowers while he can still smell it. Because the boy is balling. And a lot of people keep on putting it on, oh, well, it's the times. It's so soft now. Anybody could score like that in this day. Well, why ain't nobody else scoring like that in this day? Do y'all not notice the separation of the average of points that James Harden is scoring compared to the second scorer? It's a 7-point discrepancy. James Harden is averaging 37 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. Come on, man. Come on. He the best player in the league right now, man. And you got to just give it up to him like that. I'm going to keep it a buck all the way. Now, I'm glad to debate anybody that feel differently. Inbox me. Get at me. Drop them comments. Let me know what you thinking about. Do you think it's Giannis? You think Giannis it should deserve to be MVP over James Harden in the Eastern Conference? Now, I get it and I respect. Giannis is a beast. The Greek freak is a monster. The nigga's a savage. I rocks with him. Heavy. I love that he took Milwaukee from being one of the lower teams in the Eastern Conference to being the best team in the Eastern Conference. And that's a lot to be said for. The Eastern Conference, well, I admit, has gotten a lot better this year. Philly's looking like a threat. Boston, if they happen to get it together, the talent's there, but that's a if. Toronto, of course, they have Kawhi Leonard. He should be going into the playoffs considerably healthy. Siakam, definitely top 3 for most improved players of the year. Kyle Lowry's been doing his thing. The team's doing really well. Toronto's really good. The East has been looking okay, but they're not the Western Conference. Come on, you got Golden State over there. The 8th, 7th, 6th seed is probably better than the top 3 seeds in the East. I mean, and that's just keeping it a beam. Okay, that might be just a slight exaggeration because I don't think Toronto or Milwaukee would lose to the Spurs or Portland, but that's to say it would be a toss-up. That's how tight the Western Conference is. The Western Conference is so tight, you got to bring it on every given night, and to see what James Harden is doing in the Western Conference, where there is a Steph Curry, KD, a Dame Lillard over there, a Luka Doncic, a Booker and them with the young boys and the Suns. There's so many people over there that have high usage, a Russell Westbrook and Paul George, a DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge. All of these teams on the West, a lot of great teams. Clippers are even playing good. No really superstars on that team, but greatly coached, a great team play. You can do some things. I'm just at a point where it's like you got to give respect to where it's due. I think people are really holding on to this notion that James Harden doesn't play defense. The man's averaging 2.1 steals per game. top 20 in defensive rating. I mean, all the numbers back it up. He the best. He's unstoppable. Killer crossback. You can't take nothing away from him. I mean, we thought the other game the other night, we thought that that team found something new by making him go to the right and keeping him from his left, because you know he likes to drive to the left. He's a lefty, but he came right back out the next night, dropped 38, and then just last night 50-point triple double. So he's clearly playing at a superb all-time high right now, having a season of which only the likes of a Michael Jordan and Elgin Baylor has had. I mean, think about that. When you could say, I've had a season like Michael Jordan, how do you not acknowledge this man as one of the greats? I don't care if you win a ring or don't win a ring. Acknowledge that man's greatness, man. Because you got to do that 82 games in a season, through in and throughout. And he dragged that team. And a team where Chris Paul sustained an injury, was out for a lengthy bit of time. Clint Capella. They lost Trevor Ariza, traded him. I don't know why they would do that, but they did make valuable pickups. Brought in Austin Rivers. I really like Austin Rivers. Iman Shumpert. Really good key role guys, glue guys that you could just plug in that are active. Gerald Green last year that they picked up right before the playoffs. They got some key rotation guys that know their role, are confident in their role, and are happy with their role. One of the biggest key things, being happy with your role. That's one of the biggest things with Boston right now. They can't identify roles. People don't know where they want to be. They know what they want to be. And you just won't, the chemistry ain't going to flow right when everybody's not on all the court. Houston is surging right now in a perfect time. James Harden has put his team in position to potentially take down the best team in the league, and we all know who that is. So I don't understand how anybody, or the critics, the naysayers, all these analysts don't see or don't want to give the respect to James. It's clearly James. You got to give it up to him. That's it for my talk. MVP, James Harden, you got my vote. Not that my vote means shit, but hey, you got mine, man. We out. YNG Sports and Hip Hop. If you fucking with my talk, you want to hear more discussions, or you got some things you want to discuss, or if you want to debate and you a debater, I welcome you on my platform. We can get down. YNG Sports and Hip Hop. Subscribe, drop comments, and share the video. I'm out.